Hey, what's up? It's Chrissy, One Love Fellowship for Followers of Christ. I've got a lot going on. I haven't posted because it's kind of no one's business, and it's not really anything that needs to be talked about just yet. But I've said some things. I've not kept it too big of a secret. It's just not important to go into a lot of detail. But I did want to share something about this because I feel like there's other people going through this right now, and this new law is really frustrating. So apparently a law was passed recently that if you are accused of domestic assault, or domestic violence, whatever, domestic assault specifically, the condition of your bond is that you have to wear an ankle monitor, which you also have to pay for out of your own pocket, regardless of hardship or disability. And I find this absurd because the cost is nearly $300 per month, which is, for me, a third of my disability check. And I just don't understand how it's even constitutional to require such a thing for the condition of release when all the other conditions are met, especially for someone who does not have a history of violence and in a situation where I was actually not the aggressor. The report says that, but the report was falsified by an officer who's no longer an officer. So the individual in question, the person I supposedly assaulted, was not even the person who filed charges. The police weren't called on me. I called the police. I didn't call the police on him. Like, I wasn't trying to file charges on him. I called non-emergency to get help in the situation after the fact, because of extenuating circumstances. I was trying to find out what my rights were, and regarding a property dispute. And I was honest about the whole situation, including, my reaction in self-defense. And at least, what it definitely perceived to be self-defense at the time. I guess it's debatable, whatever. But, I didn't attack someone that I didn't perceive as a threat at the time, is all. And that individual did not file a report against me. That individual did not press charges against me. The police were not called on me. I was taken into custody where I was assaulted by police, and then held for 2 weeks in a mental hospital, and then released into the custody of the individual I supposedly assaulted. But all of that happened well over a year before this law was even passed that states that I have to wear this monitor. But because I wasn't arrested until after the law was passed, because I was walking around the whole time not even knowing that I had a felony warrant, because I don't even speed. I go out of my way to try not to break the law, and only was in the park after dark because I was currently unhoused and living in my car. And so, yeah, technically I broke the rules, but it was a park where a lot of unhoused people hang out, live, basically. Anyway, long story short, I'm in all this excessive trouble for ultimately no reason over a situation that was already resolved. We were just in court the week before doing mediation to, an amicable agreement of me moving out of the space, because I had still been living in the same home with this individual for like 2.5 years past the incident in question. And it's just frustrating because I thought I was finally free of that situation, and we both parted ways amicably and could just move on with our lives and not make any more of a, big deal about it. And then this happened. And so I'm required by law to wear this monitor, which went off while I was working today, prompting me to have to leave work early because at the time I had forgotten some of the instructions that I was given in terms of what to do when it went off, and I couldn't get a hold of anyone in that moment. I didn't want to get in any more trouble, so I just left work. It was very embarrassing and frustrating. I just started this new job. Today was my second day. I'm just started school. Tomorrow's my second day of class. My financial aid has been blocked for no reason by a glitch in the matrix over a loan from 2009 that was paid in full by consolidation in 2018, but now for some random reason, said it was in default. And so because of that, my financial aid wouldn't be approved. So until Tuesday to get that cleared up, or, apparently I'm not going to be allowed to come back to class. And I'm just getting really, really frustrated with this entire system of let's do everything we possibly can to try to block this person's success. If this person is going to attempt to succeed in any way, shape, or form, whether it's getting a job, going to school, doing anything that any law-abiding citizen wanting to be a productive and contributing member of society would do, let's throw a wrench in the system and prevent them from doing that. For what reason? Please explain your purpose. Please explain how what you're doing to stop me from, to be clear, my goal in completing my education and, moving into the career that I was attempting to move into was to be in prevention for individuals like this who maybe experienced abuse, especially in early childhood, and internalize that in such a way that they would then become abusers themselves. As someone who experienced abuse but internalized it in a way that I don't want to become an abuser, I want to stop the cycle of abuse, I felt that one of the best ways to do that would be to work with those would-be abusers. In other words, children in early childhood who maybe have tendencies, behavior patterns, who might be prone to this type of behavior later in life as an adult, and work with them on redirecting their brain chemistry, redirecting their behavior patterns, teaching them coping skills, not even necessarily diagnosing them or labeling them, but just recognizing these patterns and working with them to teach them empathy, to teach them why these types of behaviors are not good. I was already doing that in working with children to begin with as a preschool teacher, but I wanted to, study it properly and get a degree in the field so that I could genuinely do that legitimately. And it's like somehow, somewhere, some way, someone is like, no, absolutely not. We're not going to let you help children to not grow up and turn into us. We're not going to help you do that. We're going to aggressively keep the cycle of abuse going by aggressively continuing to abuse the system in our favor so that we can stop anyone like you who wants to stop the cycle of abuse from being able to get to that place. And it's like, do you understand the level of insanity behind your agenda? Because I'm not trying to hurt you or anyone else. I'm trying to help you and others like you. And I'm trying to help your children to not fall into the same trap. You should be supporting me. You should be helping me. You should be grateful that someone like me exists. You should be saying, you know what, if someone like you had existed when I was a child, maybe I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. Maybe I would be making better choices. So yeah, we should help you help our kids make better choices so they don't end up like us. But that's not what you want. Apparently what you want is to see me fail and to see me struggle, because for some reason, that's how you get your rocks off. And again, that goes back to you needing someone like me in your life, especially early on, to help that maladaptation, transition into a healthier pattern instead of a maladaptation. Anyway, I'm going to stop this now because I'm walking my dog through my mom's neighborhood, and I don't know who can hear me, but I don't know who this will help or if it'll help anyone at all. Oh, yeah, on the whole ankle monitor thing, I feel like this is extremely unconstitutional. I don't know what other areas have laws like this, if any, but if you do, let's start a discussion about this, because this is crazy. This is crazy that this is a level of... It's torture, really. It's torture for someone who hasn't even been convicted yet. You know what I mean? Especially in situations where the person who is being charged is likely the victim, because I was in there for a couple of days and a lot of the other female inmates were in the same scenario. They got into altercations with individuals who they perceived as abusers, and then they ended up being the ones who were charged. So they're the ones who have to go through this, not the actual abusers. And in my situation, it seemed like the individual in question was being coached by these officers who were clearly friends of his who are, again, are no longer officers. So, you know, for whatever that's worth. It's just very frustrating. Dude, I told you to go. I'm so sorry. I told you to go at home. Loki's going in someone's yard. I don't have a bag. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. Anyway, if you're in this situation, you're not alone. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Cover it up. Cover it. Yes, bury it. Bury it. Bury it. Thank you. If you're in this situation, you're not alone. If you think this is crazy, you're not alone. I think it's insane. I don't think it's constitutional. I understand the safety factor. And if someone is, you know, they have a history of violence, it's obvious that they have abused someone even though they haven't been convicted yet. You know, like if you've got a victim calling in with obvious, you know, marks, bruises, I can understand wanting to have a monitor on that individual until court. I get that. But in a situation like this where you've got someone who has never been convicted of a violent, or, you know, never even been accused of a violent crime, who has, you know, no history of any of this, and the individual in question, the victim in, you know, the alleged victim in question, wasn't even the one who called and made the complaint. They never, you know, filed a report. They never, like, sought any type of help or treatment or anything for any alleged attack. Like, I just think it's crazy. And I don't know. I understand why I had to have this experience, and I'm grateful for it, and I'm grateful for what God's teaching me through it. And I hope that I can help others as a result of this experience. But I genuinely think that this particular law is unconstitutional, and I think that the way that they are executing it is highly problematic. You should not require this level of surveillance and financial hardship, especially. Like, it's one thing to have the monitor, that's bad enough, but like to have to pay for it out of pocket. Are you serious right now? I wasn't like, that's so weird, you know. I could understand if I had been convicted, you know, and like it was decided that I did commit the crime, then I get it. Yeah, okay, now I've got to pay you back for this situation that I found myself in. But until I'm actually convicted of a crime, I don't understand why I should have to pay out of pocket for any of this. I think it's messed up. Again, I don't know who this will help, if it'll help anyone at all, but I hope it helps someone tonight. Just remember, no matter who you are, no matter where you are, oh, you are loved. You are supported. You are forgiven. You are seen. You are heard. You can be saved. No matter who you are, no matter where you are, no matter what you've done or what's been done to you. You can repent. You can repair. You can be redeemed. And if you want to read your Bible under a tree in a park with your service dog, just be sure to leave at sundown. Don't hang out to watch the moon and stars, because apparently that can land you in jail. Peace out.